challenge, a practical challenge that we faced at that point was even where we tried to appoint Indian law firms, like the huge law firms, like I used to work for Amarchand Mangaldas at that point, but that firm was conflicted with because they used to, like, let's say Vodafone, right? I mean, literally all the big firms had acted for Vodafone in one capacity or the other. So all of the major law firms were conflicted at that time, and therefore, the government had to go to foreign legal counsel. And I think there were a few smaller firms which were consulted, which were appointed. But yeah, it was a practical challenge to find both a competent, law firm which had done investor state work or public international law work for India, and secondly, to find someone who's not conflicted.
Right, and I assume it was like you're one of the very few people at the ministry who is a lawyer and also a lawyer with experience in public international law.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the only one, which was kind of shocking for me at that time. Yeah, and now that maybe at that time I was like, okay, but yeah, now that I think about it, it was shocking.
And was there any hierarchy between, say, you, since they weren't even lawyers, but like you and like bureaucrats and like other people? Even on like legal matters per se.
So that's the other part of it that I wanted to come, right? I mean, Indian bureaucracy, and again, this is something that I want to be open with you because this is a subject that I'm passionate about equally, capacity building. This, I mean, I think about it very frequently. Indian bureaucracy in general, the administrative system is very officer driven, right? I mean, there's no, if there was an institutional system, right, we wouldn't be talking about building up, like, we would have everything available. So there is no institutionalization. It's all depending on the minister who's in power or the officer, which is usually like an IAS or IES in the case of Ministry of Finance. So it's a very, very officer driven process. A person comes in and wants to do something. They have a lot of power under the current system that we have, current system of government, to do what they want as bureaucrats, especially at the higher level as ministers. But the problem is that once that person goes, and that churning and that transfer, is not, it happens very frequently. The whole system that person may have created, whether it was good or bad, that goes along with the officer, right, along with the person. So another person comes in and then has their own sense of ideas, and it's a different thing. So I worked with the joint secretary, as I said, and I had a very good relationship. Thankfully, the two people that I worked with in the 3 years that I was there were very good, very cooperative, and allowed me a platform to express my ideas openly, have an independent discussion, gave me the opportunity to actually negotiate treaties and meet with people. And so I had an excellent experience, but I would say that was because the people that I worked with were really good. But I'm not sure what happened after, they left. So this was also so like the decision to hire me, because before that, I don't think the Ministry of Finance, or for that matter, let's say the Department of Economic Affairs, had any in-house lawyers. So the decision to hire me was also made by the Joint Secretary, which was commendable, because they realized that they were facing all these legal issues and they lacked capacity. And I was working in